Hi, in this video we'll talk about double bounces, applying the crescendo and diminuendo exercise to them. They'll be played in the note rate of 16th notes. We'll be hearing the click going in eighths, 1 and 2 and, so we'll be playing 1 E and a 2 E and a, but with the double bounces we'll be playing twice as fast again, or 32nd notes, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. One key thing to keep in mind as you do these double bounces is you don't want to be using your wrist for that. That'll put too much force on that first stroke. And most of the time when I hear people critiquing double bounces or saying basically they're not really a viable way to play doubles, it's because they're seeing people doing it this way. So the timing isn't right and the first stroke of each hand is really accented. So what you want to do is use the forearm, pivoting from the elbow, and kind of try to lock your wrist in place or relax it into place rather than doing this. And that does a couple things. It slows down the first stroke so that it won't hit as hard. And then that also allows you to fall through a little bit deeper to get that second stroke a little louder. Now, you'll notice my elbows will fly out and in and out a bit. I'm not mimicking a chicken. I'm simply getting more leverage or a better angle to be able to fall through deeper at the louder volumes. So when I'm building it up, I want to be able to pivot deeper as though I was going through the drum to get more force on that second stroke. So that's what we're after. I'm going to try to build our control with this. This is one of those rudiments that can be played faster than the tempos we're going to do. We're going to go up to 120 beats per minute, but you could certainly go further. For my own opinion is that it's really not all that practical to do this much faster than 135, but you'll certainly hear some people take it up to maybe as fast as 150. And in shorter double stroke rolls, we'll often hear them in excess of 150 beats per minute. It's easier to do it in a short roll, like a 5, for example. Right, right, left, left, right becomes... That's pretty doable. But back to the exercise. 3 times per tempo, 60 to 120, 5 BPM at a time, and 1 bar in between. We'll start with 2 bars up front. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a, here we go. Really relaxed and even. 2, 3, 4. Pretty relaxed hands here to get this pace right. This is the second time. 2, 3, 4. Third time. And this is pretty slow. 2, 3, 4. 65. A little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have a hard time timing this, by the way, focus on your lead hand. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4. So you see how that lines up with the click. Third time. 2. Just try to keep it really evenly spaced. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Okay, 70. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. 75. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4. Here's the third time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 80. And just be listening all the way along. See if you can keep it really smooth. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. I'm also kind of watching stick heights as they go. 2 to see if they match. 3, 4, and also watching the trajectories. 2, 3, 85. 1, 2, 3, 4. And your diminuendo, just allow your elbows to come back in toward your side. 2, 3, 4, 3, 90. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 95. Ready, go. 1, 2, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 4, 2, 3, 4. Second time. Sounds like we have accompaniment of jet engines again. Third time. 2, 3, 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 5, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. And keep in mind you're trying to get it to be sounding like even singles, just like really quick single strokes. So in rhythm, 3. So evenly spread out. 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And if you're not getting it, just try to adjust your grip a little bit to change the speed of the bounces. 3, 4. This is 110, by the way. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. 115. Ready, go. 3, 2, 2, 3, 4. Third time. 3, 3, 4, 1. Can't count. 120. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, can feel at the end of that my arms are a little bit out of shape. These are great exercises for not only, of course, improving your speed, but also building a little bit more endurance, especially if, like me, you haven't been doing a ton of regular practice lately, or at least a lot of protracted work like this. So you will start to feel some burn in here, but when you're doing it ordinarily, hopefully you shouldn't be feeling that with an occasional roll. So a couple of quick final thoughts on this. I mentioned earlier, sometimes double bounces can be a bit of a contentious topic among drummers and, in fact, a lot of times even among instructors. I have seen a number of people say, oh yeah, forget double bounces. That's like hope and pray. Just sort of, yeah, maybe that second bounce will happen. And others will say, well, you can't get them to be balanced, you can't get them to be even. And if you're focused on it, and not totally burned out in your muscles, you should be able to actually have it pretty even by using that arm instead of, yeah, you don't want that, but you can get it pretty even, and it's really, really helpful for playing crisp rhythms and all the double stroke rolls on the snare drum, as well as other reboundy sorts of surfaces, the really bouncy surfaces, like the hi-hat when it's closed on the surface works really nicely. Any of the cymbals surfaces is really, really nice. You can do that on the rims. Rarely on the toms. That's where you kind of have to switch over and do your wrists, wristed doubles, like we did in the earlier double stroke video, or perhaps finger strokes as well. So there are, of course, a bunch of different ways you can practice this. So once you get comfortable with this with bounces, keep polishing that. But if you start to get your finger technique up, then that's another great next application for this video. So that open-close technique, which I'm not going to go into in detail, that's another great way to play these. Wristed doubles as well can go quite quick. And there are other techniques as well. Dave Weckl and some others I have seen use this sort of hit down and rotate out. I'm not great at it, but it's a very useful one because you're using two separate motions, so you can control the volume of both strokes. So they all have their own uses, but I think the double bounces are really, really nice to have in your arsenal of tools and tricks. So practice this, take it at the tempos where you feel comfortable, work beyond if you can, work slower if you need to. If you need to just spend some kind of remedial time, if you want to call it that, or preparatory time, getting better on your doubles, then do that as well. Just focus on getting a relaxed double stroke. If you're doing it, especially at those slower speeds, it shouldn't feel very hard at all. In fact, it should feel very light. You could also try it with differently weighted sticks too. One thing I was noticing as I was getting up toward 120. These are really light sticks. They show up great against my shirt here, but it was tough for me to get it down without using a bit of extra pressure. Whether it's a heavier stick, hickory instead of the maple that these guys are, would actually be a little bit easier to do that. So anyway, a few extra random thoughts there for you. Have fun practicing, keep at it.